Hey everybody, what's up? We are back with another game for Spook Week, and today we are playing Do Not Take This Cat Home. I originally kind of passed by this because on the horror page on Itch, because I didn't think it would be that scary. But I did look into the comments, and the comments said it's pretty scary. And then if we go into the preferences, where'd it go? No, I'm sorry, the about. You can see that there's a whole page dedicated to the trigger warnings. So I'm going to scroll past this real fast. If you want to pause and check it out, please go ahead. It says it contains spoilers, so I'm just going to quickly scroll through it. But there's all the stuff that may or may not occur today in this game. So apparently it's actually a lot more scary than I gave it credit for, and I'm really excited to get started. It apparently has something like 40 endings. I won't be getting all those, but we're going to get some of those. I'm definitely going to get more than one, so let's jump into it. You're not having a great day, well, shit! You didn't have to call me out, as usual. Oh, great. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out, but in the middle of your walk, it starts to rain. Typical, but maybe this is just a sign that you should have stayed home today. Yeah, you can always try again tomorrow, right? You turn to head home when... Huh? What was that? There are only a few people around on the street. Makes sense due to the increase of missing persons around the area recently. Well, shit. What do you mean, increase of missing persons, and we decided to go out? It sounds like we're trying to get kidnapped. Well, that and the weather. But none of them react to the sound at all. Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a dark, dingy alleyway. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward. The ground dampened by the rain makes your steps sound louder and more confident than you actually feel. Finally, the sound source comes into view, in the cold, dim light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, and not in a cabin, is a cat. Phenomenal. Huh, guess that should have been obvious. You get to the alley, it's a skinwalker. It's meowing like a cat, that's it, game's over. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. I do like black cats, they're very, very awesome. My cat is black and white, so he's not pure black cat, but black cats have goofy-ass personalities, I like them. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. Hi! Why am I shocked? So cute! That's true! And it definitely knows it. You've never had much of an opinion, one way or another, about cats before, but if they're all like this one, it's a shock they haven't already found a way to rule the world. Are you planning on ruling the world with this cute nose and these glowing eyes of hypnotism? You don't think you'd mind bowing down to a feline overlord. You look around the alley with a small frown. Who leaves cats in cardboard boxes these days anyway? Wouldn't they just jump out and leave the box? Cat's like, don't call me out, man. The cat doesn't answer you, obviously. It also doesn't do as you suggest and leave the box. It's just looking at you, as if waiting for you to make the next move. Do not take the cat home. Take the cat home. Well, the game told me not to take the cat home, so we're taking the cat home. You know what? You reach into the box and pick the cat up, holding it out in front of you. Why not? Cat's like, fuck yeah, food! You're all alone, and well, I'm kind of in the same boat myself, so you bring the cat close. You didn't realize it was shivering until just then, but it slowly breathes easier as it presses into your chest. Why not stick together, right? At least for a little while. You think a little while will probably be more like a day. You'll be responsible and take it to a shelter tomorrow. But for now, let's get you out of the rain, alright? The cat agrees, obviously. You stop by a small local pet store for some cat food, and then head back home. The pet shop owner looks at you. That cat's been brought in 5 times this week. Each owner died. You live in a modest apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 you, living alone, in it. So it feels weird having another living being inside it after so long, even if it is just a cat. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you watch for a moment as it curiously explores the new environment. Leaving the feline to its own devices, you set about making the both of you some dinner. You take out the can of cat food and open it with the tab on top. You put some cat food on a saucer and click your tongue to call the cat over to you. I can't believe it already knows that. It perks up at your beckoning and rushes over. It looks at the plate of food. If I was a cat and I had just gotten picked— I'm not a cat, so I guess I wouldn't actually know. But like, if you took me and turned me into a cat right now and gave me to a person, and that person was like, "Here, kitten," and like made all these noises, I'd just look at the human and I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you making those sounds?" And completely ignores it. Not hungry, I guess. You try not to let it annoy you. The cat doesn't understand the concept of money to appreciate that you spent your hard-earned cash on it. It's just a cat after all. I'll just leave it here if you get hungry later, okay? Cat rubs his body against your leg with a purr. You smile. That's enough of a thanks for you. It follows you into the kitchen as you start your own dinner. You decide that you have enough ingredients for a sandwich. Bread, toasted. Mayo and mustard, spread. Turkey and cheese, lettuce perfectly balanced. Tomato Ow! You wince as you cut your finger on the knife while slicing a tomato. Stupid ass. You feel a little embarrassed for such a blunder and sigh, tossing the knife onto the cutting board. You're about to head to the bathroom for a bandage when the cat hops up onto the counter. It sniffs at the knife and meows almost pointedly at you. Don't worry, I'm alright. It was just a net. You watch as the cat starts to lick lightly but enthusiastically at the blood on the knife. At your blood. Shocker! You're so shocked that by the time you come to your senses, the knife has been completely licked clean. Not a single drop spared. The cat sits back, staring at you. You feel a little uneasy. Sure, cats are meat-eating predators, but that was a little weird. Right? Sure, you're no cat expert, but that was definitely not something an ordinary cat would do. Right? Well, regardless, the music is kicked back up. You're not about to abandon a cat in need while it's still raining outside. Not after all your efforts. You're going to take it to a shelter tomorrow anyway. What's one night of awkwardness and possible death? Weird or not, it's just a cat. The rest of the evening, unfortunately, goes downhill from there. Even after covering up your fingers cut with a bandage, the cat keeps trying to lick at the wound. While you're eating your sandwich, while you're cleaning the kitchen, while you watch TV, you gently push it away every time, but you're starting to get worried at the strange behavior. Yo, we picked up a weird-ass cat. We picked up a full-blown demon. I was kidding about the skinwalker shit, but maybe I was right. What if it's got a taste for blood and thinks you're food now? That was fast. You're not sure what you'll do if it starts to get more aggressive. You keep thinking about the cat food sitting in the corner, untouched. Ugh, come on, enough already. I get that. My fucking cats make me feel like this too. You shove it away, a little more forcefully this time out of annoyance. You feel bad immediately, but before you can do anything, the cat meows sharply at you and dashes off around the corner and into the hall. You sigh deeply. At this point, you're just worried that it's gonna take a bite out of you in your sleep. Maybe a vet will have an idea on how to calm it down? You can only hope. You don't have many other options left other than tossing the cat out in the rain. After finding the number of a local vet, you pick up your landline and... that's not good. The lights just went out? Great. Just great. Rain must have knocked out the power. Definitely not the cat. You check your cell phone only to find that it's out of batteries. Because of course it is. You must have forgotten to charge it before leaving out. Oh my god, the amount of bad luck. I really relate to this character. The outing had been so spur of the moment that it had no doubt messed with your usual routine. You grab a flashlight and turn it on. It's quiet. It's too quiet. Did the rain stop? But then, why did the power go out? You look outside. The sky's pitch black. What time is it? You turn to check the clock. The cat sits on top of your digital clock staring at you. Oh. Help! Kill! Help, kill, help. Help. Help, kill me? Thinking now, you realize the clock shouldn't be working at all with the power outage, but the numbers are lit up and going completely haywire. The cat stares at you. It's completely still. You'd think it was a statue if you didn't know any better. It's not giving off indication that it's alive. It's not blinking. It's not even breathing, but its eyes. This isn't normal. You want to run, but you're afraid of letting the cat out of your sight. You consider tossing the cat out after all. I don't think we should do that. But as soon as the thought enters your head, you feel a sharp urge to vomit. Okay, so it can read my thoughts. Those eyes, its eyes hold you still, even with your flashlight trained on it. The pupils are large, round, inky. The flashlight flickers. The cat is gone. Fear immediately grips your mind. The silence, punctuated with the rapid pumping of blood in your heart, is overwritten as your ears slowly start to pick up the sound of static all around you. How is the clock working with no power? You don't know why such a question matters at the moment, but you feel as if having the answer will make sense out of everything that's happening, that order will be restored. But no answer comes to mind. You back away from the clock, and you feel as if the air itself coils tightly and abruptly in response, like a predator prepared to pounce. It is a cat, but waiting. Waiting for your next move. But you're afraid to move. You're afraid to even take a breath. But you can't stay still forever, right? Whatever is watching you, you can already feel its impatience. It's too eager. You don't know how you know this, but you can sense it as clearly as if it had whispered. Let's play. Right into your ear. Right into your soul. It won't let you wait it out. Not that you could even if you did. You can't stay here. You have to run. With this thought, a sudden primal instinct awakens within you, making you tear yourself into a hasty burst of movement, of action. But you're still weak from the fear's grip on your mind. Your legs tangle together under you in your haste and you fall to the ground. A sharp pain explodes in the center of your foot. At first, you think you've broken your ankle, but something warm and wet trickles down the length of your foot, pooling underneath it. You hear the sound of metal scraping on tiles after skidding across the floor as if it had been kicked. Ooh. Winded from your fall, you look up in a daze and see the object glinting in a strange light coming in from outside. The light pouring in from your now open front door. Thoughts of how, when, who, what in regards to your inexplicably open door screeches to a halt. As your brain finally identifies the metallic object you've been staring at. It's your kitchen knife, and still tinted red from your earlier blunder, but that's not right. Wasn't it completely licked clean by the... You gulp dryly at the pain in your foot. You barely have time to wonder how the knife ended up on your living room floor to be stepped on, instead of resting on your cutting board in the kitchen where you'd left it. When you spy something in the darkness just beyond the knife, it spies right back at you. A pair of glowing golden eyes come forward as a cat emerges from the shadows into the light from your doorway. It pads lightly over to the knife, as if skipping in delight. It bends down to lap at the blood dripping from the blade. Ah, your senses slowly begin to overwhelm you. The chill of the air as it starts to suffocate you under its weight, the sound of your shaky breaths, discordant against the static now piercing your skull, the dryness of your tongue spreading to your throat, the incomprehensible sight of the stray you'd taken in, licking away at your kitchen knife once again, completely clean. The scent of blood from the fresh wound on your foot. Blood. Golden eyes slide up to you as if in response to your sudden realization. Blood. You're hurt. Your foot is bleeding. You're bleeding. You're bleeding. The cat barely moves, shoulders twitching as if just considering the act of pouncing forward. But you're already on your feet and out the door. You run, or rather limp, down the empty street. The sky is black and bleeding red. But there is a strange light emitting from nowhere that casts everything else in white. The houses, the trees, road, even you. Everything. Except your blood. You can just barely glimpse the bloody imprints your injured foot leaves in your wake with every impact it makes with the ground. It hurts. It hurts. But you can't stop. You don't stop. Not when the shadows grow around you. Not when you feel the gaze of eyes all over you. Not when the road ahead of you is darkened by a long shadow of something behind you. Even then, you don't stop running, because if that's the cat right there ahead of you, then what in the world is behind you? Keep going. Just keep going. Huh? Interesting. How very, very interesting. Ending 0. It begins. Ah, this is an endings thing. Something happened, you think. Anyway, you can't really remember what. Wow, yeah, 1 out of 40! Holy shit! You're walking. Right, of course. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out. And you're actually glad that you did. The weather is absolutely perfect today. That's a good sign, right? Maybe your luck is finally starting to turn around. You tentatively allow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do. Maybe even who you could meet. You're so deep in thought that you almost miss it. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a lonely alleyway. The sunlight only just manages to reach down in between the tall buildings on either side. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward, the loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Finally, the sound source comes into view, in the warm, almost ethereal light of the alley. At the end of the alley, big cardboard box, is a cat. Huh. Guess that should have been obvious. So, you look so familiar, right? Then again, it is a cat. Not many different ways for a standard black cat to look, after all. This one sure is a cutie, though. Just look. It's not glaring at you or hissing at you for getting this close like other stray cats have in the past. It's just sitting there, patiently, waiting for you to do something. Oh man, do I take the cat home again? I think I will. Well, why not? Right? You barely reach out your arms before the cat eagerly leaps into them, climbs onto your shoulder, butts its head onto your temple, nuzzling against it. You can't help but smile at the cat's enthusiasm. Let's get you out of here, yeah? On the way home, you briefly consider getting cat food. But that would be a waste of time. You shrug at the odd feeling and move on. Wow, you live in a modest apartment. This is so interesting. I just love these kind of horror games specifically, because I get really curious and involved. It's not like other jump scare horror games make me just kind of freeze up and I'm like, nope, because I can't fight it. It's a game, so I have to flight it, and the only way to flight it is to literally put the game down. So I love this kind of horror a lot. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you wait for it to walk away and explore the new environment. But it simply sits and looks up at you expectantly. Do something alone. Do something with cat. Let's do something with cat. Like what? Pet cat, feed cat, play with cat, clean cat. On second thought, let's play with cat. Poor thing was probably bored stiff sitting in that old box all day, just watching crowds of people walking by them, ignoring them. You can't just leave them alone as soon as you're home. A little interspecies socializing won't kill ya, right? It probably will. Aw, you just want some attention, don't ya? You wanna play, huh? Cat's like, fuck no, I wanna eat you. Alright then, what to play though? Let's play with the cat. Look for some yarn, I think my laser pointer still works. Hide and seek, a classic. Look for some yarn right now. If every movie and cartoon involving cats that you've watched since childhood is to be believed, then you can deduce with almost absolute certainty that cats freaking love yarn. Probably. You unearth some from an old box in the hallway closet that's filled with knickknacks from various abandoned hobbies. You consider just handing the ball of bright red yarn over to the cat and supervising from the side. But that would defeat the idea of playing together, wouldn't it? You cut off a decent enough length of string from the ball of yarn and go back to the living room. The cat is resting on the floor. It kinda looks pissed. It's not asleep, but when it looks up as you enter the living room, you feel like it could doze off right then and there. You'll fix that. You smirk a little, confident with your surprise. You let a piece of yarn dangle just above the floor, pinched between your thumb and index finger. The sudden shift in the cat's demeanor makes your heart start to beat a little faster. Its posture has barely changed at all. Just a subtle shift of the head and ears. A slight tension in the shoulders. A sharpness in the gaze as it locks onto the yarn dangling an inch above the floor. The cat could still pass as being almost relaxed. Calm. And yet the air is thick with its eagerness to lunge forward. Waiting for the right moment to strike. You feel like you've just witnessed the awakening of the perfect predator. You're almost afraid of what will happen once you make the first move. But it will be you who makes the first move. You take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. And... yoink! The cat had lunged the instant you wiggled the yarn. But you're faster! It completely misses as you flick your wrist, making the yarn recoil out of reach like a terrified snake. Having overshot the landing, in its eagerness, the cat stumbles and looks around as if shocked at its failed attack. You generously click your tongue to help reorient it. The cat whips its head around at the sound. You're slightly taken aback by the intensity of its stare at the yarn. But you persist. You wiggle the yarn again, encouragingly, and yes, maybe a little tauntingly. This time, the cat anticipates the yarn's upward dodge, and leaps up to swipe at it. But you're already one step ahead, puppeting the yarn to dance gracefully out of reach once more. We should probably let the cat actually get the yarn, my guy. I'm just saying. Cat's pissed. Ha, come on, you can do it. It's a little condescending, but you can't seem to help it. For some reason, it feels a little good knocking the feline down a peg or two. At least it seems to be enjoying itself. You hope. You keep going. The cat's movements have gotten more aggressive. It must be getting frustrated. You could swear it nearly took a shot at your eye that last time. It jumped so high and erratically. You've been keeping the yarn in constant motion, afraid to slow down. Your wrist is starting to get tired. The cat doesn't seem to be losing any energy, though. It's like... it's getting faster and faster. Flick. Flick. Ugh. Your wrist finally cramps sharply, making you lose control of the yarn's motion as the tip of it brushes lightly against your stomach. Oof. Ah. Oh, that pain rips low across your torso. Into your torso. Oh, blurg. Blood pours out of your mouth. Holy shit! In a daze, you look down and see red blooming slowly along the bottom of your shirt, around the tears in the fabric. You watch as long, thick ropes of something pour out from under your shirt into a bloody heap on the floor at your feet. A single red-streaked rope still hangs from you, connecting you to all that mess. Are those you crumble to the ground and topple over onto your side. Your vision has gone blurry. But you can just make out the shape of something small and deep, inky black as it walks over and inspects you. Oh god, they're your intestines. before it starts to giddily roll around in the mass of your bloody insides next to you. Darkness falls over you. The cat sounds happy. Nonsensically, you wonder where the yarn has gone, but there's really no need to worry about it. Cat seems content with the next best thing. Ending 11 at the end of your rope. Whoa. I like that it says continue, not new, because this is the same guy over and over and over again. You look so familiar, right? I'm not gonna take the cat home. Sadly, as cute as the cat is, you'd never take this thing home with you. You just can't take it home with you. You're a responsible adult. You are, with rent and bills to pay, not to mention you need to buy food to survive as well. There's no way you could care for a cat long term, right? You can barely afford this little outgoing on your day off. What to do? Leave the cat, feed the cat, play with the cat, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Lots of question marks. You are not ready. Oh, we're gonna leave the cat. You don't think it's a good idea to get the cat's hopes up for having someone look after it if you're not willing to commit. What if it gets attached and somehow tracks you down back to your home? You'll never get away from it then, I think, is what it said. Sorry, see you around, I guess. You stand up, the cat watching your every move. You make it halfway out the alley when the cat's meows almost pitifully at you. I have to keep ignoring it. No. Nope. You need to nip this in the bud and get on with your day. It's what's best for you both. You leave the alley and continue on your way. Wait, what was I doing? In all the excitement of dealing with your furry dilemma, you'd forgotten that you still hadn't decided what you were going to do on your day off. I think I'll go to the carnival. Okay. You spend the day at the carnival. Ferris wheel, roller coaster, ferryboat, rides you've been on before. Hoops, coin toss, balloon darts, games you've played before. Funnel cake, popcorn, cotton candy, food you've eaten before, all things you've enjoyed before. You're surrounded by groups of people, all having fun together, laughing, playing, eating, taking pictures, making memories. And then there's you. The sun hasn't started to set yet, still high in the sky, but it will soon. You start to wonder if maybe you should just go home for the day. When you stop in your tracks, you see something new. An attraction you've never seen before. A maze of funhouse mirrors. It sounds kinda lame, honestly. There isn't even a line to get in. But then, what else is there to do? Do something else, enter the maze. We're already here. We're here, man. You enter the maze. A few rooms in, and you notice that the mirrors aren't all weird. Some just show you looking back at yourself. A little bored, a lot tired, and so very, very... Maybe this was a mistake. Why did you think going into the maze of mirrors was a good idea, even if it was something new to experience? I can't do this today. You turn around and head back the way you came, only to bump into a mirror. Ah, what the? Where's the exit? You try again only to find another mirror blocking your way. By the time you're all turned around, you've realized that the way you came in is completely gone. Okay. Don't panic. I just have to keep going forward, right? You step through the only opening you can find and nearly trip over something on the ground. You bend down and pick it up. What's this doing here? In your hand rests a worn-looking flashlight. Curious, you flick it on. Huh. The light doesn't look very... Crap, the lights. Did the power go out, or did the attraction operator forget you were in here? How long have you been in here, actually? You pull out your phone to check the time, or maybe call the police. Your phone is dead. You grip the flashlight in your hand. The light it emitted earlier was dim enough for you to know there's probably not that much juice left. Best to reserve it for worst case scenario, and feel your way out. Yeah, you can do this. You take a calming breath. Well, forward we go. Hello, darling adventurer! Me. Holy fucking shit! Who said that? Welcome to the Mirror Maze! You're in a bit of a jam, but don't you worry. You're in good hands. Or rather, good paws. See these little cuties here? They'll be doing their best to guide you through the maze. Aren't they generous? When you enter a room, the emergency light will flash, letting you see the paths before you for a second, and also what lies beyond them. Whenever you see these kind kitties, just go where they are, and you'll reach the next room. Unfortunately, they're not the only things in here. It is highly suggested that you refrain from following any of our other guests. They can be sneaky or distracting, but they're always hostile, so please take caution when advancing to the next room. Of course, this wouldn't be much of a mirror maze without mirrors. Can they hurt you? No, they're just mirrors, silly. They don't do anything at all, and you can't do anything to them either. They're just an obstacle you can't pass through. Go left, go center, go right. The choice is yours. Though, if you find a room with no helpful kitties in sight, and all paths lead to a mirror, or something else, it's recommended that you stay put, and just maybe it will work itself out. Now, for your navigation tools. That flashlight you found doesn't have much juice left. It only lets you get a quick extra peek at your surroundings about 5 times, so try not to use it all up at once. You can keep track of your progress through the rooms up to the left, and your lives up to the right. You've got 3 lives, so be careful to avoid the less friendly guests lurking around. Why only 3 lives, you ask? Because you're so soft and squishy. It wouldn't take much to damage you beyond repair. And besides, you're human, and humans usually only have the 1 life, yes? And yet, here, you get 3. Don't you think you ought to show a little more gratitude? And that's the end of your tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful. Are you ready to play? Game is too hard, game is way too easy, reset settings, can you tell me about the maze? Okay. Obviously they can't let me go, so I guess I'm ready to play. Okay! 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, I see. Next room. Left. Stay. This room feels off. Just wait. I think something just changed. Did you see the giant thing off to the right? Holy shit! Center. I hope I get to see more of its forms. Stay. Room feels off, just wait. You see it! The exit! Yes! Okay, I kept all my lives. You run forward, but as you do, the scenery shifts. Just slightly at first. But you're running too fast to stop yourself from colliding into the glass. Except, you don't quite go into the glass. You don't exactly collide with it either. You simply pass through it. And on the other side, you see an endless white void, and... Whoa. Yourself? Dozens of you. Hundreds of you wandering around. Aimless. Faceless. And empty. So empty and listless, they don't even acknowledge your presence. You try to turn back, but the glass doesn't give. Past the glass, a familiar black cat walks up and looks at you. You think it meows at you, but you can't make out the sound. It tilts its head, then walks away. The glass goes dark. Then you watch helplessly as it disappears completely. You're trapped, with only yourself as company. Ending 19. You beat the maze. Happy. I beat the maze! Woohoo! Why is that bad? Why did I... What the fuck? Congratulations, you beat the maze! Thank you. But why? Okay, I'm not gonna take the cat home. Let's play with the cat in the alley. Oh, you just want a little attention, don't you? Poor thing must be bored sitting in that box. You're not sure you're much of an interesting companion, but you're willing to do your best. There's gotta be something you can entertain the little critter with. But what? Check pockets, look around the area, buy a toy. Check pockets. You dig into your pockets. Small piece of string! Not very helpful. String is far too short. In your right pocket? A bar of chocolate! It's not helpful either. The only other thing you've got on you is your phone. It's not much of anything a cat can play with, but there's something you can do. Photo montage! Well, that was fun, right? Well, you enjoyed yourself. With nothing else to do, and no intention of taking the cat home, you decide it's probably best to just leave. You don't want the cat to get too attached after all. At least you'll have some memories to take with you. Okay, see you around, I guess. Good luck? Okay. You turn and walk away, but as you leave... Huh? Your phone just got a message. You open it up and... What? Aren't I cute? It's a picture of a familiar-looking cat. Huh? Cat does look cute. And happier in the picture. But it's not a picture you recognize. What the heck? Did I? You didn't take this picture. You peek over your shoulder at the cat. But the cat is simply looking at you. Okay. Hang out and do something else. Well, I guess I could stay a little longer. But now what to do? Feed the cat. The cat must be hungry, right? Can't imagine that it's had much to eat if it's attached to the box it's in. Though it doesn't exactly seem malnourished either. Surely it must have left the box in search of food, right? For some reason, something in the back of your mind tells you that's not the case, and not to think on it any further. Well, either way, you can't exactly enjoy your day knowing you left behind a hungry cat, especially when you could have done something to help. So, what to do about the hungry kitty? Look around the area. You glance around the dark, dingy alley. You only see garbage bags, trash bins, empty boxes, scattered litter here and there. If there were something for a cat to eat, surely it would have been found by now, right? But you don't want to just give up so easily. You keep looking. You look and only see garbage. You sniff and only smell garbage. You listen. Oh. You just barely make out the sound of a faint scurrying by the trash bin a few feet away. Quietly. Oh, so quietly. You creep over to the bin, and you lunge. Oof. You weren't very graceful in your attempt. You stumbled and knocked over a stack of nearby boxes full of more trash. But as you stand up, grasped in your hand, is a small mouse. The mouse squeaks and shrieks in distress, wriggling and struggling desperately in your grip. You're holding it too tightly and carefully for it to be able to bite or scratch you, though. It wears itself out eventually and looks up at you with black eyes. It's completely at your mercy. Spare the mouse. Are you sure? Spare the mouse. You can hear the cat's stomach growling. It must be so hungry. It must be starving. Spare the mouse. You know the cat is hungry. Why are you hesitating? You caught prey for the cat's sake, didn't you? Are you really going to value the life of a filthy rodent more than the cat's? Spare the mouse. Huh! You're mocking me, aren't you? Oh shit. Last chance. Hand over the prey. Now. Spare the mouse. You let the mouse go. It scurries away, squeezing into a tiny hole in the wall, but you don't pay it much mind. You don't flinch as a giant clawed paw slowly falls in front of you, blocking your path to the alley's entrance. Not that you had any delusions about escaping. The cat is hungry, after all. You close your eyes in acceptance as the paw gently pulls you back, and Ending 26. A life spared. Okay, we're gonna feed the mouse to the cat. The mouse looks scared, as if it can sense your intentions. It weakly starts to struggle again. The mouse is reluctant. You feed the mouse to the cat. The cat tears it apart instantly. I'm sorry. The mouse's pain squeaks and squeals pierce through you until they're abruptly cut off. Satisfied, the cat mews happily at you, red tinting its fangs. The cat curls up in its now blood-stained box and goes to sleep. You take the chance to leave. A well-fed cat will likely follow you home after all. And cute as the cat is, you really can't afford a pet right now. Still feeling a little guilty about the mouse, you decide to just go home. After a long walk home, you finally enter your apartment. You head straight for your room and collapse on your bed, falling into a fitful sleep. Later, you wake up. Oh no. Two squeaking and scurrying noises all around you. So loud and constant they sound like screams. In the darkness of your room, you see the shifting shadows of hundreds of mice surrounding your bed. You try to run. Ah! But you cry out as twin lances of pain race up your legs. You fall off the bed in your attempt to escape, the hordes of mice dodging as you crash to the ground. You can't stand up. Looking back and squinting in the dark, you just about make out the source of your pain. The flesh and tendons of your heels and ankles are mangled, bitten through your socks. No, leave me alone. Desperate, you crawl with only your arms toward the door. The mice descend upon you, biting into your skin, gnawing away pieces of you. Man, you think that cat, if that cat was, you know how that cat was going on and on about being grateful in the House of Mirrors? If you were a grateful-ass cat, you would save me right now. You start to fade in and out of consciousness, but you still reach up for the doorknob. Your arm, heavy, weighed down by the mice clinging to it with little claws and tiny teeth. You manage to jostle the knob enough for the door to slowly swing open. But your outstretched arm suddenly falls to the ground, lifeless. The mice manage to chew through the flesh and bone of your now dismembered limb. As a few mice creep forward to curiously inspect your arm, you stare blankly at it for a moment before sliding your gaze up. In the newly opened doorway sits a familiar-looking mouse? It stares at you. The darkness in its beady black eyes, you can't begin to measure their depths. Nor the hatred pouring out from within them. All of it. Aimed at you. Ah! You collapse, head hitting the floor, as your other arm is eaten away as well. You're not sure how you're still conscious. The pain should be indescribable, and yet you just feel a cold sense of loss. The mice have clustered along your back now, gnawing and ripping their way between your shoulder blades, into your back, into your chest. You weakly cough up blood. They must have damaged something important. You feel something being pulled out of you, and in between the moments that blankets of darkness fade out your vision, You hear something wet plop on the ground in front of you. You pry your eyes open and see it in front of the mouse. Weirdly shaped, red with your blood and pulsing, and... oh, that's your heart, isn't it? The other mice all descend upon it, abandoning your half-eaten body. You're losing a lot of blood. You feel sleepy, but you also feel anger? Yes. So much anger. How dare they? How dare they? The last thing you see before your vision fails you is a pair of glowing eyes leering in from the darkness beyond the doorway. You can hear squeaks and shrieks of terror all around you. Low yowls, deep snarls, gnashing teeth, tearing flesh. As your remaining senses leave you, you smile weakly with the last of your strength when something with soft, slightly damp and sticky fur nuzzles your cheek. Good kitty. Ending 27, well fed. Okay, so if I feed it the mouse, the mice come for mass revenge. Cats are supposed to eat mice. Huh. Wonder what mice are supposed to eat. Apparently fucking me's. Apparently they're supposed to eat me's. Okay, we're gonna do something with the cat again. But this time, we're gonna pet the cat. It's not every day you have access to a cute, fluffy animal. What else is there to do but pet it to your heart's content? No. You sit on the floor in your living room and click your tongue to call the cat over. No, I didn't mean to your heart's content just for a minute. The cat dashes over to you, immediately climbing into your lap. Poor thing, you just want some attention. Alright, you carefully pet the cat. A rub behind an ear, a scratch under the chin, a smooth sweep along the back. Good, huh? You keep petting the cat in your lap, enjoying this bonding time together. But the cat starts to get restless after a while. Keep petting, let's do something else. Clean the cat. Upon giving it a second look, you realize that the cat isn't exactly clean. Not surprising, since up until you brought it home, it's been sitting in a dirty old box, in an alley full of scattered garbage, for who knows how long. You've heard that cats can keep themselves clean, but maybe this is one of those times that a little human help couldn't hurt. You head into the bathroom and set things up trying to remember how to wash a cat. You're definitely no expert, but you think the best way to get a cat clean would be quickly or carefully. Let's go carefully. You think carefully is the way to go. Cats aren't always fond of water, so you doubt it'll be a fan of an excessive amount of it. So you pick the cat up and place it gently in the sink before turning on the water. The cat is startled, but ultimately doesn't try to run away. Nice. You lather your hands with some soap and carefully give the cat a thorough half-scrub, half-massage. After a few minutes, you rinse the cat completely and gather it up in a blanket, drying it. Then you take a brush and carefully run it through the cat's fur. The cat seems like it's in heaven as you brush it. Some hairs are sticking to you, but you don't mind. In fact, quite a lot of fur is sticking on you. You try to brush it away, but it won't come off. Guess you're up next for a bath yourself. You try to ignore the fur and finish with the cat quickly. More hair keeps sticking to you. Your hands, your arms. Before you realize it, they're covered in fur that won't come off. It's thick enough that you try to just yank it off, but... Ah! What? Pain lances through the spot you tugged at. Upon closer inspection, you see that the hair is... growing. Growing out of you. You can actually feel it now. Fur growing out of your back, your neck, your face, your eyes, oh, your tongue. It's even growing inside your throat. As you collapse and start to choke on the thickening fur in your esophagus, the cat leans up to lap at the fur growing on your forehead, grooming your hair as thoroughly as you did for it earlier. You think it'd be sweet if you weren't currently losing air. Still, feels nice at least, to be looked after and cared for in some way, even if it's just for a little while longer. The cat's careful grooming is the last thing you feel, before you're no longer able to breathe. Ending 15. Self-care buddies. Alright, gotta love me some self-care. You've forgotten you still hadn't decided what you were gonna do for the day. Let's go watch a movie. It's been a while since a film came out that looked interesting enough for you to drag yourself to a movie theater, but there's a showing of one such film at the old theater. The movie was a little too niche to be picked up by the new cinema that opened right across the street. That's okay though, you're not exactly a fan of crowds, and nothing ruins the experience of watching a new movie for you more than noisy audiences. Go to the old theater, go to the new cinema. Let's go to the old theater then. If that's where our movie's playing, then that's where we should go. You eagerly buy your ticket from the kind old man in the booth and head inside. It's barren of any trace of other people, and the decor looks like it hasn't changed since the 80s, maybe even the 70s. But it's what you were counting on. You consider buying some popcorn, but you can't help but be concerned that everything at the concession stand might be expired. You move on and walk through the halls, finally locating the theater designated on your ticket stub. As expected, the theater your movie will be playing in is completely empty. Perfect. You pick a spot right in the middle, even counting the seats and taking into consideration the gap of the staircase. As you settle in, the dim lights fade away, leaving the room pitch black for a few seconds, before the screen flickers on. No commercials or trailer pop-ups, the movie just begins. Pleased, you shrug and let yourself get immersed in the opening scene. But just as you're getting into the premise, the doors open behind you, momentarily casting light into the room and ruining the atmosphere. You hold in a frustrated sigh. It's a public establishment, after all. The place can't exactly afford to stay open if you're the only customer. You try to refocus on the movie, but you sense the new presence slowly shifting around the theater. Before heading in your general direction, what? You gape in utter disbelief as the stranger shuffles down the aisle only to sit right in front of you. There's no one else here and plenty of places to sit. The stranger is also unusually tall. Even with the stadium-like arrangement of the seats being on somewhat steep incline, they're completely blocking your view. Move to another spot, confront the stranger, leave the theater. I'm just gonna move to another spot. You don't want to risk escalating the situation further. This whole thing is already making you uneasy. Why would they choose to sit right in front of you? Surely they know you wouldn't be able to see past them. Shaking your head with a passive-aggressive scoff in the stranger's direction, you reluctantly pick another, less perfect seat in the theater. But, as you settle down, you see the strange person get up, only to once again sit down in the seat directly in front of you. You look around somewhat helplessly, as if waiting for someone to silently agree with you about how odd all of this is, or at least inform you that it's all an elaborate prank. But there's no one else here with you. That's how you've always liked it, but you can't help but think that maybe it would be nice to have someone else here if it meant not being alone with this weird jerk. Alright, let's confront this motherfucker. You hate confrontation. You can already feel your palms starting to sweat at the idea of it. Your throat closing up, and your body's starting to shake. You've always been more of a flighter than a fighter, but you paid for this ticket. You've wanted to watch this movie for ages. And now this total stranger has ruined the entire experience for you. You're all alone in this theater. There's no one who will help you if something goes wrong. But you're angry enough that you ignore the signs of your body begging you to put as much distance as you can between yourself and this stranger. You stand up. Even standing and higher up on the incline, the stranger is still at least a head taller than you. The movie continues to play in the background, but you feel as if a hush immediately falls heavily over the theater at your movement, as if you can sense the stranger anticipating what you plan to do next. You square your shoulders and force a little bass into your voice. Hey! The effort makes your words come out more harshly than you intended, like a sudden vicious bark. But you figure they deserve it anyway. You're being a real jerk, you know that? Just where you playing at, huh? You trying to piss me off? The silence that follows your words is deafening. So much so that you glance at the screen only to find that the movie has paused? Your attention is ripped back to the stranger in front of you as they shift slightly, like a small animal trying desperately to anticipate the moves of a predator. You don't move an inch. You don't look away. You don't dare blink. Instead, your eyes widen as the person's head turns. Then turns some more. then turns more, beyond what should be possible, neck bones cracking, to face you directly. You can't move. Wide, glowing eyes, resting above a wider, grinning mouth, gaze down at you. The stranger opens their mouth, and what comes out is something impossible to comprehend. The voice is endlessly deep and creaks like a weighty door, foreboding and oddly melodic, alluring. It also snaps you out of your terrified trance, and before you know it, you're already out the door. You run through the halls of the empty theater, heading for the exit. You feel something watching you from behind, but you're too afraid to look. The exit now in sight, you sprint forward and burst through the doors. You look around frantically and spot the crowded cinema across the street. People, that's what you need. Safety in numbers and all that. Without thinking, you rush into the street when a sinking sensation crawls down your spine, compelling you to look behind you. Go to the new cinema. Refusing to even risk a peek over your shoulder, you rush across the street to the new cinema theater. You didn't realize that it felt like you've been surrounded by some kind of dreadful pressure. Until it very suddenly vanishes, leaving you feeling more than a little shaken, but at least breathing comes easier. You think it's within your best interests to repress everything that just happened. Yeah. Deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DVD or streaming, you join the long line outside the new cinema. By the time you've reached the ticket booth, you just want to get inside. So you pick a movie at random and take your ticket from the tired-looking teenager manning the booth. The decor is chic and sleek. The insides are bustling with people. It's not what you're usually into, but it's kind of nice not being alone. Even if you feel a little lonely watching families and groups of friends laughing among themselves. You get some popcorn, but the lines at the concession stands are long, and the prices are criminal anyway. You go through the halls, and follow the signs to the theater designated on your ticket before heading inside. You sigh at the sight of an absolutely crowded theater. You head towards a seat only to be told by the person next to it that it's being saved for someone. This happens a few more times before you finally manage to get yourself settled into a seat annoyingly off-centered to the screen. But the screen is at least visible, if not a little too close, so you grit your teeth and bear it. The lights fade out, but the chatter doesn't. The rest of the audience seems content to talk through the commercials and even through the trailers. You figure the chatter will stop when the movie actually begins. But it doesn't get even slightly quieter as the opening scene starts to play. You sigh out loud, not thinking anyone would hear you anyway. This is why you avoid movie theaters like the plague. What the shit? Suddenly the screen changes, showing the face of a black cat. A familiar black cat. Confused murmurs fill the room, but then, the cat on the screen meows. The sound is strange, and not at all like any cat should sound. Haunting, almost melodic, and layered as if made of multiple voices of different creatures. Creatures that will probably never say. You sit in confusion, wondering why you haven't already gotten up and left to complain to the cinema staff. But then you hear it. It's scattered and dissonant at first, but among the crowd, people start to chant along with the cat on screen. Soon the entire room is chanting in perfect unison, everyone staring intently at the cat on screen. You're feeling strangely drawn to the screen yourself. But the compulsion to stare blankly like the others isn't that strong, for now. Also, you start to notice out of the corner of your eye that some of the people in your immediate vicinity are looking at you. No, they're outright staring holes into you, even as they continue chanting. They don't miss a beat as they slowly begin to frown at you in blatant disapproval. Their scowls deepen as time goes on, as if they're getting impatient. Try to leave the theater, try to blend in with the crowd. Try to leave the theater. This is too weird. I need to get out of here. Gathering your courage, or perhaps putting your fear to use, you stand up, fully intending to leave the theater, when everything comes to an abrupt stop. All of the chanting stops, even the cats chanting on the screen. You tense and risk a glance around the theater. Ooh. They're all staring at you. Every single one of them. They're not moving. They're not even blinking. You swallow, throat suddenly dry, even though a nervous sweat completely soaks through your clothes. You highly doubt that sitting back down will fix the situation. Your legs are shaking under the audience's unnaturally intense scrutiny. But you force yourself to step forward, and forward, and forward until finally you reach the end of the aisle. You feel their collective gaze, even worse on the staircase. All their heads have turned uncomfortably to the left to look directly at you. The screen illuminates their faces, making clear their blank scowls. They seem even more upset than they had been minutes ago, identical frown lines digging between their brows. You keep going, the heavy atmosphere becoming more and more oppressive with every step. You're so tense with anticipation that you fully expect someone to grab you from behind. But no one does. You don't hear any of them even get up. You exit the theater, holding your breath as the doors close behind you. You briskly walk through the halls, putting as much distance as possible between you and that theater full of people. Finally, reaching the lobby, you just barely manage to catch yourself from falling to the floor as you gulp in a huge gasp of air. You expect to feel relief as your breathing calms, but you feel a lingering sense of dread that only spikes once you finally notice it, as well as its source. You look up, and your stomach sinks. Oh. All the people in the lobby area of the movie theater, everyone in line at the concession stand, all of them, are staring at you. And they look even angrier than the people in the theater. You don't hesitate this time. You duck your head, avoiding eye contact, and leave the cinema. You ignore the glares of everyone in the ticket booths and the lines leading into them. You make your way home. Whenever you dare look up at someone on the way, you flinch at the blatant anger, fury, and disgust on their face. You think you start to hear the faint sound of a cat's meowing behind you, or maybe a kitten's. Doesn't matter, you just want to get home. You reach your front door and fumble with the keys, cowering from the look of pure hatred on your neighbor's face as he stares at you from his door. Finally, you get inside your apartment, lock all the locks on the door, and slide down with your back against it till you're sitting on the floor. You allow yourself a moment to breathe. Now home, your heartbeat calms, and your fear slowly bleeds from you, leaving you feeling, strangely, empty. You pass the kitchen, head to your room, and slip under the covers of your bed, trying to fall asleep. Maybe it's all just a bad dream. As you fall into a fitful sleep, sure to be full of nightmares of glaring eyes, you try to ignore the ever-increasing sounds of cats meowing and yowling in the distance outside your apartment. Ending 17, Black Sheep. I'm gonna load back in, and I'm gonna look behind us real quick. Despite your resistance, you feel your head turning to look back of its own accord, while in the middle of the street, you catch a glimpse of a grotesque-looking person standing behind the glass doors of the old theater, watching you intensely, cradling something in their arms. Something familiar. But I was hit by a car. I knew that would happen. God damn it. That's the whole reason I didn't turn around in the road to begin with. I was like, I'm probably gonna get hit by a car. A glimpse is all you get, as a truck speeds forward and crashes into your body. No! Damn. Hit by the semi of reincarnation. You're killed on impact, your body splattered across the road and crushed further under the heavy tires. Ending 16. Poor screening arrangements. Nice! Let's go get the one. Hold on, I want to see what happens if we meow. So we're gonna go meow now. I'll see you when we're meowing. Try to blend in with the crowd. Thinking fast, you look to the screen and begin to chant in tandem with the crowd. Yeah, 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 ah, ah. Yeah, yeah, I do that, yeah. You feel the harshness of their collective gaze start to ebb away, air in the theater becoming lighter once again. Back to the chanting. You release air shakily, just realizing that you'd been holding your breath earlier. You feel stuck. Surely you can't just up and leave now. Not after whatever all that was. People around you all seem fine now. But there's no telling if they get aggressive at you for even moving too much. Never mind outright getting up and leaving. You decide to let this run its course. Hopefully someone will come along, right? Or at least turn the film off. You continue to chant along with everyone. Yeah, 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 yeah. You start to feel lightheaded. You feel as if you could fall asleep, but your eyes don't feel heavy in the slightest. You try to look around and gauge the other's emotional state. But you can't seem to look away from the screen. You try again, but you're still locked into eye contact with the cat on screen. The cat be Nyan, the audience be Nyan, and I be Nyan. You attempt to physically force your line of vision away. You steel your nerves, ready to throw yourself to the ground if you need to. But your body only gets as far as tensing up for a moment before completely loosening itself again, making you lay back limply in your seat. You think you should be panicking right about now. But even your brain feels limp. Your thoughts, a vaguely muted pastel pink, airy, sickeningly sweet and loosely spun, like cotton candy. You like cotton candy. You think you shouldn't mind your thoughts and body being like cotton candy either. So, why get up and ruin that? It's nice here. Oh, 100% brainwashed. You're more at peace than you've ever felt before in such a crowded room. Still chanting. You've never felt so aligned and in tune with another person, let alone with an entire room full of complete strangers. You're not alone. Out of the corner of your eye, the person next to you starts to sink back even further into their chair. Then they sink more. Then more. Not like they're slouching or reclining, but more like they're... deflating. Their skin bunches up and wrinkles like fabric as if their muscles, their bones have started to disintegrate. Their eyes, dim before sinking into their sockets, their mouth still attempting to chant, falls open over a cut-off "nyeh," gaping as the word ends in an awful hiss, a final weak release of air. You muse thoughtfully about whether or not you should be distressed at the sight. But even then, the blanket of peace doesn't leave you. Suddenly, from the pile of skin and clothes next to you, you see a lump moving around. You watch in dazed fascination as the lump makes its way to the part of the skin where the head used to be. And out from the mouth crawls a teeny black kitten. That is a horrific image. Nya, 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 nya. I apparently am not worried. You can hear the familiar hissing sound all around you now as the unified chants start to fade, only to be replaced with a faint mewling of kittens. Finally, your voice is the only one still chanting. Still human. And alone. You don't want that. You can't go back to that. Not again. Not again. Please. Just then, you go completely limp. Your body feels light, but it might as well weigh several tons, because you realize quite suddenly that you can't move. Not an inch. You can't shift your eyes to look around. You can't even breathe. But somehow, the chant continues to creak weakly from your mouth. A few kittens come forward and perch themselves on the chairs around you, watching your sinking body, mewling as they wait for their youngest sibling to emerge. From you, dozens of glowing eyes peer down at you, and as your eyes start to cave into the sockets of your softening skull, you manage to make out the silhouette of a familiar cat perching on the seat right in front of you. Your vision finally fades, and as the same hiss of air expels itself from your mouth, The last thing you sense is something small and alive, shifting eagerly under your skin. Ending 18. Happy birthday! What the fuck kind of ending? What the fuck? You have a front row seat to a touching reunion of multiple siblings at the new cinema. Phenomenal. Okay, we're gonna get 10 endings for a full 10. We're gonna go to the dog park for our final ending. Go to the dog park. You decide to take a stroll in a park or something. The only one within walking distance is the nearby dog park. You think it'll make you feel better. First, you get to see a cute cat today. Now you'll get to see a cute dog. Although I left the cat, but fine. Several of them, in fact. The park is bustling with owners and their canine companions, playing frisbee, fetch, running, jumping, some are even napping. Such cuties. Whatever. Like you'd want anything to do with these mangy mutts. Am I the cat? Is that why I say I'm familiar each time? Is that my cat? Am I a cat? What's wrong? Is that me? You didn't think that. You decide to move on. That or the cat's just like a cosmic god. I don't know. The dogs are all so adorable. You want to pet every single one you come across. But you know not all owners are cool with strangers just walking up and manhandling their pets. Not all dogs appreciate it either. So you stroll around the path, trying to exude a welcoming aura that will beckon one of these cute doggies to you. You don't have to wait very long. You stop as the smallest, cutest puppy you've ever seen scampers up to you, blocking your path. Leave the park, kick the puppy, kill the puppy, eat the puppy, pick up the puppy. What the fuck? I don't want to do any of those things. Pick up the puppy. You pick up the puppy and... Hold on. You just barely managed to rein in the reflex to throw the puppy as far from you as possible. With shaking hands, you quickly place the puppy on the grass and take several jerky steps back. The owner seems confused by your reaction to their puppy, but you just wave at them in a daze before hastily stumbling away. You're not feeling so great about being at the park at the moment. Maybe you should leave. Oh, am I gonna kill a dog if I stay at the park? I don't want to kill a dog. Bro, I don't want to kill a dog. You stay at the park! You'll try to calm down by watching all the dogs from afar as you walk along the path. Every so often, one will run up to you. And when they do, they look wrong. Their owners don't seem to notice. You find a bench and sit down for a quick break, closing your eyes. Maybe this wasn't the best idea after all. Maybe you should have stayed with me instead. You're broken out of your thoughts when something lands gently on your lap. You look down and see a frisbee on your thighs. Hey, sorry about that. Can you throw that back? You look up to see an owner waving at you in the distance, but more importantly, big bark. A series of excited barks jerks your gaze forward. You see a large dog sprinting towards you. A series of excited barks, oh no, jerks your gaze forward, and you see a large dog sprinting towards you. Hey, hurry and throw back! You throw the frisbee and the dog runs in the opposite direction, jumping and catching it right out of the air. Impressive. The dog and the owner walk up to you. Thanks for that. You can pet him if you want. The dog looks up at you, eager for its reward of pets and pats for catching frisbees. Should I? Pet the dog. Leave, 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 leave. Pet the dog. Really? Are you sure? I'm warning you. Don't touch that mutt, or you will regret it. Pet the dog. You reach out your hand, and you pet the dog. The dog seems pleased. You don't feel well. Suddenly, the sky begins to darken rapidly. You look up along with all the pet owners and see that the sun has been eclipsed by the moon in the blink of an eye. You vaguely remember that you should never look directly at an eclipse, but for some reason, you don't look away from the eclipse. Big meows. A loud piercing yowl fills the air, shaking the ground beneath you. You instinctively move to lift your hands in order to shield your ears, but... But the hand that had been cautiously pressed upon the dog's head comes away with some resistance. Resistance like sticky slime, almost cementing your hand to the dog's head. The slime stretches with your movement. The dog's head stretches with it too, as the canine begins to just melt. It melts and melts until it becomes a pile of goo at your feet. No, I'm so sorry, dog. You dazedly look around for the dog's owner only to find an empty pile of familiar clothes where they once stood. You see similar piles of clothes next to piles of goo scattered all across the park's open field. All the dogs, all their owners. The melted goo of the dog in front of you then starts to move with a shudder. What the fuck? It slithers across the grass towards the field and in the center of the park. All the other piles of goo following after it. They mix and melt together into a single entity that shifts and undulates and bulges and grows. You watch in dazed horror as it then fills out and shapes itself. Ooh. Into a behemoth of a dog, snarling and frothing at the mouth, red eyes frantic and searching, before the glowing orbs land directly on you. The rumbling growl it emits is so low and deep, you can feel the sound of it crashing into you. Yeah. No. You had your chance. Better start running. You try to run, but you're not fast enough. The behemoth barely takes a few leaps before it's already towering over you. It tears you apart until there's nothing left. Ending 21. Dog person. You had a pleasant day at the dog park. I guess I did, didn't I? Alright, well, I'm not gonna get all the endings to this. I just wanted to get a little taste of it. This is pretty awesome. I'm pretty into this. I could see myself getting confused and maybe getting the same ending a few times while trying to get all 40 of them. I'm sure some of these endings are kind of difficult to get, and then there's also a few scenarios where you have like question marks as options, and the one time I clicked on it, it said I wasn't ready. So there's a lot more to this game. I'll leave a link in the description below just in case you want to check it out for yourself. But yeah, this was an awesome game. I really enjoyed it. And now I'll go hug and love on my non-demonic ass cats and have a wonderful day myself. So thank y'all for coming out. I appreciate it as always, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow for another spooktastic game. Later!